Hey everyone, today I'm going to be going over the 8 C's and how to write a business letter. The 8 C's are clear, concise, concrete and specific, complete, courteous, coherent, and constructive. Each slide is going to be a little overview of each of the C's, and some of them will have examples and images that will help you understand the content even more. Feel free to pause and take a look at this graph, which highlights everything you need to know about each of the 7 C's. Okay, so first off, you want to be clear. When you're trying to be clear, you need to be careful about how you're constructing your sentences. Do they make sense? And if not, you're going to have to adjust that. Keep in mind, when you're the one writing, sometimes it makes sense to you, but it may not make sense to someone else. So you might want to ask someone to even proofread your work just to see if it's up to good standards. You also want each sentence to contain one idea. If you have a bunch of different ideas in one sentence, it's going to just be mumbly-jumbly, and in the end, it's not going to make any sense. You also want to avoid jargon. Don't forget that the chances that someone's reading your work and completely understanding the topic is about 50-50. There's lots of people that don't understand all these words, and just because you're a professional and you understand that work doesn't mean anyone else will. So you want to use not simple language, but language that is versatile to everyone. You also want to be concrete and specific. Helps. You want to use active sentences and no word salads. Word salads are just a bunch of filler words that make no sense and are often used to just make something seem a bit longer than it really is when it's not actually needed. You also want to be concise. This includes having active verbs and prepositional phrases, which is a group of words used before a noun, pronoun, or noun to show direction, time, place, location, or to even introduce an object. You want to avoid repetition. When someone keeps repeating themselves, it kind of drags on and isn't as interesting. You want to have precise language and be descriptive. A good way to go about this is to actually plan what you want to say ahead of time. Plan out the introduction, the beginning paragraph, the middle stuff, all the content, and how you want to end off your thing. This would really help structure your letter. Like I went over a little bit in being clear, you want to be concrete and specific. This means defining and limiting general terms, and again, obviously being specific. I have an example here on the slide. One of the binders on my desk has the information you need. I've crossed out one of the binders because, as you can tell, there's going to be multiple binders, and you're not going to send someone to your office to go looking through all your stuff. You need to define what color this binder is, and even honestly, if you had added where the binder was, it would be a bit better. So instead, I'm saying the red binder on my desk has the information you need. But if you wanted to go a step further, the red binder on the right side of my desk or just next to my computer has the information you need. This will really help limit questions, increase productivity, and it's pretty good for business writing. You also have to complete your sentence. When you're writing a sentence, you should be asking yourself the question, have I hit the who, what, when, why, and how? This helps you become more concrete and specific so you can fully complete your sentence, which is super important. Remember, you don't want to be receiving questions. You don't want to, especially in business, when you're emailing your client or you're emailing a coworker and you're missing information, it looks sloppy, unprofessional, and it's going to, in the end, cost you a lot more time because you'll have lots of questions to answer. Being courteous is also important, has many different meanings. You want to make information easy to find on a page. You want to make your page organized and so people can navigate it. You want to have your document, depending on what it is, to look attractive, look put together, professional, and it might be helpful to even include tables and charts to offer to the reader. You want to have reader-friendly fonts. Having a bunch of cursive is, might not be the best font for everyone. You want to be personal and have gender-neutral wording. For example, I have one down here. Columbia University offers a course on the history of mankind. You might want to change it to humankind. It's also important to be coherent. This means that your paragraphs have transition words and that everything you're saying is meaningful. Each sentence means something and it's not just filled with a bunch of gibberish. If you have a list, which, for example, I have here, it starts by the introduction of a sentence. As I have here, I have a lot of preparation to do before school starts, getting textbooks, reading the text, and working out. Something else that I have in the image on the right is that if you do your list parallel, it's actually super helpful, and it makes the format of your writing a little bit better, more complete, a little courteous. And then another thing to remember, which is not often talked about, is that if you're writing out a number under 10, it needs to be written out. Anything above 11, 12, whatever, you can just write the number. Anything before needs to be fully written out. You also need to be constructive. This means avoiding negative language or saying sorry when you need to. A simple example of this would be, instead of saying thank you for all your trouble, thank them for all their help. Or another example, in a hypothetical situation, maybe a client has emailed you because their order is taking a while. Say, we apologize for the inconvenience, but unfortunately the parts will not arrive until next Saturday. Instead, you can respond with, we hope everything runs smoothly once the parts arrive next Saturday. This has a more positive approach, and especially between emailing clients, you want to have that positive approach. Otherwise, they may not even respond to your email. They may submit a complaint. They may not even read the rest of the email to see the extra information because of the negative tone. They're not getting what they want. They don't want to read the rest of it. Now we have the format of business writing. So on the left here, I have it written out just in that way. At the top, you want your title, and then you have your company, your address, and your city, and your postal code, date, receiver's name, receiver's occupation, company address, and then you want to do Dear Mr., Mrs., last name, your letter, and then you want to sign it all at the end. I do have an actual example on the right side here that would be great. And if you do want to pause and go to the actual slides, I have a great video. It's very informative here for you to watch. This other one is also a great one to check out. Awesome. Now that you've learned a bit about the 8 C's, I want you to try it yourself. This is one of the examples, and I'd like you to pause this video, try it out yourself, and then the next slide will be the answer key. So go ahead and pause, and then unpause it when you think you're done. Perfect. And then this is the answer key. I hope my presentation was good. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Okay, thank you. Bye.